WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not want people to know that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for the season. I can tell you, from the very day that they decided to let that go public, everything has dropped off a cliff.
The WNBA has now entered the comedy stage. Ratings crash, ticket sales collapse, and suddenly the Indiana Fever are being asked, actually let's call it forced, to play in Atlanta. All because Caitlin Clark is out. The league thought fans wouldn't notice, but spoiler alert, they did. Here's the circus falling apart in real time. Here's the question: would the WNBA even survive an entire season without Caitlin Clark? Drop your thoughts below. No sugarcoating, this league is desperate. The numbers don't lie. The moment Clark's season-ending injury went public, interest fell off a cliff. Not a slope, not a hill, a cliff. 1 week, it's packed arenas, ESPN bragging about record-breaking viewership, and fans traveling across states to watch Indiana play. The next week, empty seats, scattered applause, and TV ratings that look more like midnight reruns than professional sports.
People were trying to hang on to the possibility this whole time. Look, so many people stayed engaged with the team because they thought the cavalry was coming. She's coming back. We're going to have a fighting chance to win the WNBA championship. The Indiana Fever and the WNBA, they knew this.
Now the league believes moving Indiana's games to Atlanta will fix this mess. Atlanta? Really? Because the solution to losing your star player is what? Changing arenas? That's not a plan. That's panic mode. Let's rewind. When Clark was healthy, the WNBA had its golden ticket. ESPN splashed her all over coverage. Every game she played drew numbers the league hadn't seen in years. Millions tuned in, social media exploded, highlights went viral. The Fever weren't just a team, they were the team. Every road trip felt like a home game because people came to see her. But here's the kicker. The WNBA and Fever front office knew she wasn't returning. They sat on it. They dangled false hope in front of fans, making people believe she might push for the playoffs. Why? Because they knew once the truth came out, the bubble would burst. And guess what? It did. Look at Baltimore. Almost 3,000 ticket holders just didn't show up. Think about that. They already paid, had seats, and still said, forget it. That's not apathy, that's betrayal. Fans thought they were buying Caitlin Clark. Instead, they got WNBA Lite with no refunds.
People felt like they were going to games thinking this team would have Caitlin Clark coming back to make a championship run. I mean, the perfect example, the game in Baltimore the other day with the Mystics. Nearly 3,000 fans decided not to show up, and they paid for the ticket.
And now ESPN acts like everything's under control. They roll out numbers about year-over-year growth and the highest average ratings in decades. Let's be real. Those spikes happened when Clark was on the floor. Clark was the headliner. Those viral highlights, that was her drilling logo threes and dishing assists. Without her, you're left with a 90,000 viewer snooze fest between teams no one outside their zip code cares about. To put it in perspective, one of the league's hyped games drew fewer than 100,000 viewers. That's YouTube creator territory. Honestly, some high school state finals pull bigger crowds. Yet the league struts around like the sky isn't falling. Newsflash it is.
But before Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury, WNBA tickets were averaging $89. The moment she went down, price crashed nearly 30%, plummeting to $62 a seat. That's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but obviously the biggest reason is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark literally being out. And again, she's only on one team. But very big chunk of the total attendance in WNBA is from the Indiana Fever.
This is Kathy Engelbert's worst nightmare. She gambled everything on the hope that the WNBA could grow beyond one superstar. But now it's obvious one player is the league. Without Clark, the WNBA isn't trending, isn't buzzing, isn't even casual conversation. And here's the most ridiculous part: shifting Indiana Fever games to Atlanta. Really? Because nothing says we believe in our product like uprooting a franchise just to squeeze ticket sales from a new market. Do they actually think Atlanta fans will suddenly care about Indiana minus Clark? Are free hot dogs included with every seat? The math doesn't work. We've seen this play before. Remember when the NBA tried to boost certain markets for TV ratings, even when nobody cared? It failed then, and it's failing now. You can't fake demand.
Moving arenas. So yeah, a lot of teams, whether it be the Lynx opening the Upper Bowl, whether it be the Wings, the Dream, the Sky, all of these teams moving games. All of these teams are moving games for the Indiana Fever, regardless of who it is. They all have to sell those seats. And a lot of people don't want to go, and it's super cheap. Like, it's a lot easier to fill a 10,000 seat arena without Caitlin Clark than to fill 20,000. So you're going to have to find a way to do it anyway, which is what a lot of people are going to be doing, trying to sell tickets. The seats for the playoffs, I would say the Indiana Fever playoff seats would have been, honestly, like nearly $1,000 in. I actually think had Caitlin Clark been playing, it would be nearly $1,000 into this game.
Let's go back to the numbers. Before Clark's injury was made public, the Fever vs. Sky matchup featuring Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese pulled 2.7 million viewers, more than some MLB primetime broadcasts. After the injury, Fever vs. Mystics dropped to 270,000. Fever vs. Lynx barely cleared 1 million. And the so-called big markets like New York and Las Vegas aren't saving the ratings either. Aya Wilson is a superstar, no question. But if casual fans don't recognize her name or tune in, that's reality. And the ones who know it best? The players themselves. They see the half-empty arenas, the dead silence online, and ESPN no longer spamming their highlights. Angel Reese looks frustrated, half engaged, half checked out. Teams trade shade, but deep down they know their paychecks are larger only because Clark exists. Without her, the money shrinks. That's the core truth. The WNBA built its momentum around one player, and now that she's gone, the panic move is to shift the Fever to Atlanta. Maybe a new city hides the fact that fans stopped watching. But that's not strategy, it's smoke and mirrors. Players feel the shift. When Clark played, every possession mattered, every whistle got a roar. Now, you hear sneakers squeak louder than the cheers. That's not excitement, that's emptiness. Look at Angel Reese's story. 1 week, she's the league's next big thing, the fresh face of the WNBA. The following week, she's complaining about minutes, sitting out with vague tightness, or caught in rumors of being unhappy with her team. And the crazy part? Almost no one outside of hardcore WNBA Twitter cares. That's the uncomfortable truth. Fans were watching Clark, not the drama. The league can push Wilson, Stewart, Collier, or anyone else, but you can't manufacture interest. These women are elite talents, but when their games air without Clark in the spotlight, the numbers collapse. 130,000 viewers, maybe 200,000 with heavy ESPN promotion. And this is supposed to represent the bright future of women's basketball? If so, it looks shaky. Which brings us back to Atlanta. What does this accomplish? Atlanta has never been known for selling out WNBA games. Their own franchise has struggled for years. So now the league expects Indiana, minus its star, to suddenly fill an arena in a city that barely supports its own? That's not a fix. It's desperation dressed as innovation. The real reason is optics. The league doesn't want cameras showing rows of empty seats in Indiana. Empty arenas reveal the truth, and TV angles can't hide them. In Atlanta, at least they can comp tickets, hand them out to sponsors, and make broadcasts look less embarrassing. It's not about fans, it's about hiding decline. And it stings more because the WNBA spent the entire summer bragging about growth. ESPN plastered graphics celebrating record averages, boasting that Caitlin Clark lifted all boats. But those boats had leaks. The second she went down, the hype sank. Now the league is bailing with Dixie cups and fans aren't fooled. That Baltimore game with 3,000 ticket holders not showing up? That was fans saying, "We're done being tricked." Even the argument that Clark is just one player has collapsed. Critics claimed the league was bigger than her. But the ratings proved otherwise. The second she's gone, everything feels invisible. The blunt truth? The WNBA is addicted to one player. Clark isn't just another star. She's the oxygen. Take her away and the room suffocates. Shifting games to Atlanta won't change that. It's deck chairs on the Titanic. The ship is still going down. What makes this worse is how short-sighted it all is. Instead of spreading attention across multiple stars, the WNBA funneled it all into Clark while pretending it didn't. That's how you end up here, a league bragging about all-time highs while secretly panicking over half-empty venues and fans tuning out. And then the guilt campaigns begin, lecturing fans that they should care for the good of women's sports. That argument has failed before. You can't guilt people into buying tickets. You can't guilt them into watching TV. Entertainment drives viewership. Clark delivered that. Without her, the product falls flat. Look at other leagues. Stars drive growth, that's not new. The NBA had Jordan, then Kobe and Shaq, then LeBron, then Curry. The NFL had Brady, now Mahomes. MLB had Bonds, Jeter, Trout. Stars are the currency. But here's the difference. Those leagues always had multiple stars ready. When Jordan retired, Shaq and Iverson took over. When Brady slowed, Mahomes was ready to carry the NFL. The WNBA, it put all its chips on Clark. Now, without her, it's an empty stage. The other stars just don't move the mainstream needle. That's not a knock on their ability, it's just reality. So here's the big question. What if Clark isn't fully healthy next season? Do ratings tank again? Do they shift more games into neutral markets? Or do they admit what fans already know? That without her, the league is running on fumes? The WNBA had a golden window, viral highlights, record crowds, ESPN coverage. Instead of building sustainable excitement, they squeezed every drop out of Clark. Now, the second she's gone, they're exposed. That's not growth, it's dependency. And fans won't stay out of pity. If your league only thrives with one player, admit it. Stop pretending. This Atlanta experiment will expose the truth. If the games flop, there's nowhere left to hide. If they sell out, it'll be giveaways, not demand. Either way, the desperation is showing. The sarcasm writes itself. The Women's National Basketball Association has turned into the Clark National Basketball Association. Denials don't matter, the receipts do. Without Clark, ratings collapse, arenas go empty, and ESPN survives on recycled highlights. Sure, the league can shuffle venues, spin numbers, and push PR campaigns. But the truth is glaring. Caitlin Clark is the sun, and without her, this league is in the dark. So there it is. The WNBA is scrambling, forcing Indiana Fever games to Atlanta, and hoping fans ignore the freefall. Spoiler alert, we noticed. The panic is real, and without its star, the league looks completely lost.